site. How many people in here, one of my questions I always ask people is, how long is it going to take you to change a date on your website? What's the process? What happens? Okay? And if your first answer to that is, I pick up the phone and I call my web developer or web designer, I have a slight problem. Right? The reality here is that in the early days of the web, late 90s, early 2000s, the web designers and developers wanted to lock clients out so that they had to get called so that they could earn $50 for a 5-minute piece of work. This is the truth. Now, the best web developers and designers are creating content management system-based websites, like WordPress sites that look like a total website. So if you're looking for a new website right now, you feel like you're in that place, the place with the web designer that you have to call and pay quite a bit of money, I suggest you talk to somebody else. Talk to a WordPress designer. If you want to know some people that are great at this, that are totally honest, talk to myself or Jason or Terry. I'm sure there's a couple in the room, maybe not, but there's a lot of very honest, upfront people who create systems that you can operate yourself. It's really key. So you read all these goals, you understand what I'm talking about in terms of time-based and specific and attainable, right? And give it some time. And what you're going to take from this is, what are we going to do after this, right? So what are we going to do to improve Twitter mentions by 3 times in 6 months? Well, we're going to engage with it. We're going to talk to them so they can actually mentions. We're going to provide valuable content that's valuable to our audiences. It might not be our content, but we're going to link to it. And when I don't know about you guys, but when I click something from Terry's feed and it's some site, something that's not related to Terry, I credit Terry for showing me that piece of information. I don't credit the site. That's the whole idea behind social media. There's a great fear that if you direct someone to someone else's site, that's against business practices. You want to direct them to your site. If all you're doing is directing them to your site, they're not going to come back. They're going to unfollow you. They're not going to be interested in you at all. Even on Facebook, right? So if you have a Facebook fan page, what is one thing everyone who's involved in that fan page, no matter what your business is about? Facebook. So when Facebook changes privacy settings, why don't you put up that blog post on some other site that says easy ways to manage your privacy on Facebook with the new changes? Because every single one of your Facebook fans will appreciate that because they all use Facebook. So it's about finding those universal pieces that are of value to your audiences. So this is sort of the new marketing funnel, and it's the important thing here, just like that other funnel I showed you, is that social networks at the top, and ultimately you want to drive people to the company's site, to the sites of conversion, right? Whether they're putting an email in a box, or telling you what they actually want, or following them on Twitter, or liking them on Facebook, right? Going from very soft conversions, like the Facebook like, or the Twitter like, to really, really hard conversions of the purchase, right? And having those 2 or 3 conversions in between, right? So you want to have email, someone entering their email into a box, filling out a form telling you what they want from your service. I get all my students to do Google Forms. One of them, she has an organization, home reno, home decor business. She created a 3-question survey that blew my mind. The first question was, which of these services might you be interested in? Home organization, renovations, updating, cleaning. So you pick your one. The next question was, what's your business? Okay, no problem. The next question was, the next question was, when would you like me to contact your office? And she didn't have weeks or months, seasons. So soft, right? When would you like to talk about this again? So then she has this list of what people want, what their email addresses, and when they want to contact them about that particular service. And because she used the right words, I didn't feel like I was being sold. I felt like she was offering me tips. In the future, I'm going to contact them. It's pretty key. Another thing I'll mention about surveys right now is that if you ask people for more information about their first name and email, every personal piece of information, address, phone number, postal code, you're going to lose 50%. Okay? You're going to lose 50% of people who might fill out that survey. Why do you need people's postal code information? Why do you need their phone number? You need to ask yourself those questions. Because if you don't need those pieces of information, do not ask them. You will increasingly draw down the number of people fill out your information. Alright, so these are some of my free tools here. Website monitoring, Google Analytics, social posts, Hootsuite. It's gone premium. It's a little unfortunate, but you can still get a great product at a free level. And to be honest with you, it took me a long time to realize that $6 a month for one triple espresso wasn't really a big deal. So I signed up for their program. So link distribution, j.mp or Bitly. Facebook Insights, that's where it's going to tell you about how people interact with your page, with their content on your page, their Facebook fan page, or a like page, or whatever you want to call it these days. Email marketing is the most effective means of creating business on the internet. More effective than any other because people have already given you permission to market. So MailChimp, it's the free option up to 1,000 users, and Constant Contact is the paid option. So really, the idea behind email marketing is that that's the way it's permission marketing. Right? How many people know Mr. Clean of marketing, Seth Godin, the big bald guy, right? So 10 years ago, I wrote this book called Permission Marketing, and that's when people give you permission to market to them. Your email newsletter, e-newsletter, if you have it, should not talk about selling. It should be the same as that blog or that Twitter or that Facebook. What is the information of value to my customer base? Let's present them with that value first. Then let's tell them about the products and deals we have this month. Because if your e-newsletter is buy, then people are going to go buy. I just made that up right now. So monitoring Google Alerts, really good tool. There's also something called Social Mention, and that'll actually scan all of the social web for you. And what these things do is you type in a search string. So for BCIT, because we appear as so many different versions, I have BCIT, capital or, in quotes, BC Institute of Technology or, in quotes, British Columbia Institute of Technology. Anytime any of those phrases appears through Google or through Social Mention, it sends me an email. It tells me where to appear. So one of the major things I can do is I can go out there and I can reply to people and give them more information, or I can find articles that actually relate to my business, and I can post those in those other places. If someone's testimonial of my company, I'll put that on Twitter and thank them. I'll put that on Facebook and thank them. That's what amazing. I might even put it into an email, right? I might even put it on my website with their authorization. It's anonymous. You can put it on your website. It's a customer testimonial that doesn't have your name on it, and it's anonymous. You put that there. Dashboard, Net5 is a little more advanced. So Net5 is a way for you to track everything that's happening on your website. And then if you're using YouTube or Flickr, they have their own built-in insights to tell you lots of information about how people find stuff. How many people in here use YouTube? Yeah, quite a few. Flickr, 2 people, not so many. Okay, cool. So the big thing that's not happening on Flickr and YouTube is SEO. People are not giving titles to their videos that are valuable. They're not putting descriptions in that are valuable. They're not putting tags, right? YouTube's the second most used search engine in the world. So if you're using those proper words, not SEO, just here's the description of what I'm talking about, you're actually going to see a lot more traffic by making sure that your title of your video or your picture is not MOV138.mov, right? We've seen a lot of those, and it's important that you actually take the time to do that to your content so that other people can find it very easily. See another one from Mark? So we got to strike a balance here, right? This is sort of where a lot of us are at. Oh, there's all these tools, I gotta use the tools, and up here we have this guy who's kind of outweighed, and that's we need a strategy, right? So we need a strategy before we have tools. So always be monitoring and measuring. This is one of my favorite things here. Books. Failure is the greatest teacher. When something's successful for me, I'm happy, I show my bosses, I show my client, it's great. But when something's unsuccessful, I learn so much more. And it's important that you don't fear success, or fear failure. If you feel like fear failure, you're never going to succeed in social media, because you're always going to stand back. You're not going to try the things that are necessary. So make the lessons and learn the things that are going to create the benefit for you.